The clock shouldn't have been there. It lay half buried where the tide licked the shore, its face fogged with salt, its hands frozen at 11:57. The casing was brass worn, thin as a coin. By years of touch it could not possibly have known. Ava found it on the evening she went to the beach to decide whether to stay. The town had been a kindness she had expected. A job that asked less than it gave. A rental with a lemon tree that dropped fruit like generosity. But the restlessness was back humming in her bones. She picked up the clock as if it might bite. It did not. That night it sat on her nightstand, quiet as a sleeping cat. Sometime around 2, Ava woke to the softest sound. A tick, then another. The hands moved. 11:58. Las 11:59. Then stopped again at a minute to midnight. Ava laughed into the dark. Make up your mind, she whispered. The next evening, it did the same. At 11:57, the mechanism stirred and gave her precisely 2 minutes. Like a tide rising just enough to wet your ankles, then retreating. By the third night, Ava began to wait for it, a cup of tea cooling in her palms. In those 2 minutes, the room felt brighter, the air charged as if with unsent letters and unfinished songs. What do you want from me? She asked the clock on the 4th night. It offered no reply, just that measured gift. 11:57 to 11:59. 2 minutes nudged into her day like a coin slipped into a pocket. Ava started using them. The first night, she opened the letter from her sister she'd been pretending she didn't have time to answer and wrote the first honest line. The second, she stepped outside and looked at the moon until the minute hand refused to move. The third, she placed a lemon in the windowsill for the neighbor who always waved but never spoke. On the 7th night, the clock ticked straight through. Las 11:57 en las 11:58, en las 11:59, midnight. The hands trembled, then rolled on, as if they'd been waiting for her to understand. Ava knew then that the town was not a place she had washed up, but a place she was allowed to begin. She set the clock on the kitchen shelf between the tea canister and a jar of shells. The brass looked right there, like it had been claimed. Weeks later, when her sister visited, she reached for a mug and paused. Is this? She started, then shook her head, smiling. It looks like the ones in Grandma's house. Maybe it is, Ava said, and the clock, as if pleased, granted them both another minute. Closing quote. Sometimes time steps back so you can move forward.